I was going to bring us to a slippery conversation that knowing you and me, we could end up talking for the next 3 weeks on it. Judge and Pujols, man. I know it's been talked about, and it's going to be talked about a lot more, especially
Yeah.
when that big fella hits his next couple, and the other big fella in that goddamn barrel chest he has, Albert Pujols. I guess let's do Judgy. I'd love to get your perspective on the whole thing, and
Yeah.
just another thing that I didn't know if I was leaning into something too hard was that they're being compared. They're happening at the same time, right? Like,
Right.
and we
Which is
don't.
greater? Is that what they're...
Yeah, I mean, I don't fully want to do that. I guess I saw everyone doing that. The Judge is greater, and I was like, well, I get it.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. You see all those names and take out the steroid guys if you want to do that, and where Judge is landing is as rare air as you get. But I think the Pujols air is just as rare. So let's start with Judgy and just how you're appreciating and taking in the whole thing.
Well, it's incredible. You know that I watch mainly National League, but it's hard to ignore what's happening over there, especially because of the comparison with Shohei and Judge that's happened all year to this point. And I feel like he's just decided to say, well, let me just put a exclamation point on me being MVP. The way that he's done it, he's 20 home runs above the next guy.
Yeah.
That When was the last time that had even come close to having that kind of separation from the first and second guy? First of all, he plays defense like we saw last night,
Yes.
as good as anyone in right field, which people don't even talk about. I think that he's doing, and the way that the media has gone around it too, it's not just like John Heyman is writing something almost every day talking about how this is the greatest season he's ever seen, and he's seen his fair share of seasons. So I have to just take what other people are saying about on a daily basis and look at it and know how much they've seen and realize that it's something really special.
It's unreal, and it's so unreal because even I'll still get it sometimes, man. Like when he comes to the plate and, they show a player's stats on the year and I saw 60 pop up, I was like, geez, I've never seen that. Like since the steroid era, which is obviously its own thing for another time, but it's unreal. And he's going for the Triple Crown and he's playing defense in right field in a contract year, by the way,
which he turned down mega dollars at the start of.
And he's probably going to get himself another $150 or so. And by the way, his wife came up to me and Joe's at the game yesterday and said, love what you guys do. So, I mean, if it doesn't get cooler than that, I don't know. She was awesome. Thank you, Sam. That you're right, that we're starting to get into those little details that you tell, or not even little details, but the things that make it fun. Like breaking the home run record, incredible. But like you're saying, outdoing the pace by 20. It's not a year where home runs are getting hit. The thing that I think should be hammered home more, he's played center field for most of the season, which he hadn't really played before this year. And it's not the outfield. When we do our all JM teams, we specify that you need a center fielder, and he is 6'7", 282, played a nice center field. And how often do we talk about guys playing quote unquote out of position and we're like, well, their hitting stats are a little down this year, but he's trying to play second base this year and he's been a third, he's thinking about it in the field.
Right.
How about the opposite?
Two things, right? Where would the Yankees be right now without the year that Aaron Judge has had with everything else that's gone on? Second of all, about the defense thing, we brought Michael Harris up purely and simply to shore up the defense because we had Adam Duvall, who was a Gold Glove left fielder, playing center field, and that wasn't doing it. So to imagine a right fielder who's just shifted over there, it's not easy.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of people, like Cody Bellinger does it with ease. He goes from first base to center field like it's nothing. But there's not a lot of people that can do that.
He's it's awesome. I couldn't be happier for the dude. I'm dreading and so excited for his free agency. I mean, you want to talk about, my guy John Boy, one of his favorite things about baseball is being in the stands and having the conversations of baseball, whether it's in that at bat and 2-1, he just threw a slider, is he going back to the fastball? Or, I mean, you talk about eavesdropping on conversations, what the big fella is going to bring in this offseason, whether it's Yankees, Mets, Giants, whoever your team is, that if they've got that bankroll. I'm so interested to see the process. And I'm
There's
normally
two
not.
guys.
What's that?
There's two guys, Jacob deGrom and Aaron Judge, that could both get record contracts for each of their positions.
Yeah.
As an average yearly, I'm thinking.
2 New York free agents. That is going to be fun. We're not fully there yet. I'm excited to see Judge do this. I was in the building last night. He gave us a
scare.
He gave us a scare, Pete. It was
the night before the night of the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
I mean, you were emotional.
Yeah.
Have you spoken about that on anything since? Because
a little bit on Talkin Yanks, obviously.
Right.
But no, I think it would be good to bring it here and say that when we first started Talkin Yanks and whenever we do a question episode, engagement, crowd building, one of the ones that would be a regular one is like favorite Yankee game you went to growing up. And BBD's probably heard this answer now 8 to 10 times. That when we used to go, like I grew up in Connecticut, getting to the Bronx wasn't super easy. Like single mom that, she'd bring me and my sister. We'd go to a Yankees Sunday day game, which during the Yankees dynasty, by the way, that would be the rest day that they could earn. So like we'd go to these day games. Posada would be at first. Like Bernie or Jeter would be sitting, or O'Neill. Like one of the big guys would be getting their rest day because they just had a 5-1 week and they're gonna rest one of their veteran guys. So like my memories weren't that great. They were great, but I didn't see a lot of the special games. Like I still haven't been to a Yankees postseason game. I'm hoping to do that this year. The best sporting event I ever went to previous to 2 nights ago now was I went to a UConn. I'm a big UConn men's basketball fan and women's, but Elite 8 game, UConn, Michigan State. It was when Draymond was at Michigan. It was in Madison Square Garden. It was a great game. 2 great college basketball fan bases. The place was nutty. And my UConn Huskies ended up winning, which was another cool part of that. That I think 2 nights ago. So taking one step forward into baseball, we went to the COVID World Series. So that was a weird scene in general. Dodgers Rays in Dallas at 20% capacity. So you got a lot of moving parts there. But the Arozarena game where he trips around third and he stumbles and he gets home, we were at that. And it was cool. But your heartstrings aren't as there as Judge hitting 60, which, like you're saying, there's going to be other World Series highlights like the Arozarena highlight. I don't know where we'll end up with 60 home runs with the way pitchers are throwing and everything else. That, yeah, man, to go from, 8th inning, the Yanks get mowed down, 1, 2, 3. They're down 4 runs to the Pirates, to seeing someone hit a 60th home run in a season, tying Babe Ruth. And then Stanton, who, by the way, in recent history, when you remove the steroid guys, has 59 in the tank, which is your leader in the clubhouse in the past, 40 years when you take out the steroid guys.
Yeah.
For him to be in one of the worst slumps of his career and then hit the walk-off, yeah, man, that's a special night.
Someone else was controlling that, it feels like. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like that should have happened. And just out of interest, what percentage of the crowd left at the top of the ninth?
20%, something like that.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty standard, actually.
What was the big
For
Judge
that moment.
Judge was leading off the ninth inning.
Right.
So that's a pretty easy. If Judge had popped out, I mean, I think you would have seen 80% of that remainder heading for the door.
And there's no way you win it if Judge pops out.
And by the way, I didn't even get romantic about that part yet. The relief pitcher, which you can speak about, Peter, Will Crowe, his one thing that he was trying not to do was to give up a home run.
Mm-hmm.
Anything besides a home run was a win. A double was a win against Judge. I'm sorry. A walk would have been fine.
No, it wouldn't have. You know it wouldn't have. He would have heard it just as
That's fair.
Worse.
That's a fair counter. He would have heard a lot of things if he did walk Judge.
Correct.
I think his dugout would have given him that's okay.
Quite possibly, yes.
But yes, a lot of ravenous fans in the Bronx would not have been okay with that.
Look,
and Judge's only goal in a 4-run game, and he'll lie about it, but he was trying to hit a home run. And for that to happen is just unreal.
I'm just glad that he got a strike. I'm just glad that he got a pitch to hit. Honestly, I think that was the best part of it, is the fact that, I mean, where's the Pirate season going? Just, I mean, compete. Don't throw cookies up there, but don't just, like, I want everybody to throw to him right now, obviously. We all do, but.
And it's incredible. And like I said, with Albert, I guess also being sucked into Yankee land. I was trying to be as romantic about Albert as I could be. He's got a couple lefties coming up. I think he's got Heaney and Kershaw, which if it's Kershaw, how cool would that be? But I just, anyone that'll listen to me, I try giving them the speech that how cool it is that Albert's homered off more pitchers than anyone. That this pitching generation that we are now in, where you mentioned your guy Spencer Strider breaking the record for most, fastest to 200 strikeouts, that Albert is still doing it. I could make, if I was a Jolly Olive or Foolish Baseball or one of those guys, I could put together a pretty damn good video saying Albert Pujols is the best hitter to play this game.
And I can tell you, for me, coming up and joining the Atlanta Braves in 2006, he was the machine.
Yeah.
For a reason. It was like he would get in there and wide stance, crouch down, and you're like, fuck, now the strike zone's this big?
Yeah.
Like, and if you put it there, I got him out a couple of times, but they were missiles. Like one of those ones that it almost felt like cartoonish. If my shortstop caught it, I might have carried him to the home run fence. That's how hard it was hit. Like, he just didn't miss.
Yeah.
And he's continued to, at the age that he is, put together unbelievable swings. And more power to him, because he was done.
Yeah.
When he left the Angels, there was a lot of people, probably me included, talking about how, it's probably the end of it. But look at what he's done and look at what he's continued to do. And he's not doing it where everybody's sitting there going, oh, just hang it up, man.
Right.
He's a competitive at bat.
His stats this year are insane. I mean, a 141 OPS plus.
Is that still the highest since he left the Angels?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, I don't know what that tells you, but also like he didn't come out of the gates just knocking him dead this year. At one point in July, his batting average started with a 1. So you're right, man, and it's where this sport is so damn beautiful that like anyone should have written him off. For this year, 42 years old, hitting in the ones in July. and then he's gone full bore that it's looking like he's going to get 7 bills. And I don't know. I don't want it because people love taking stuff as hot takes. I just want people to know, like, wherever Judge sets the bar this year, there is a chance that that is the easier bar to reach going forward than Albert's 700.
Right.
And I just think, I know people are appreciating it, but I just want to make sure because I love Pujols. I copied his stance growing up, Peter. That was my
We
guy.
all did.
Yeah.
We all copied his stance. It was the stance, the copy. It was incredible.
It was kind of sneaky swag. It had a little bounce to it, but it wasn't over the top.
The bounce was just him showing how much back control he had. Like, it was not like a cocky, like, it was just, I can whip this thing like you've never seen. Just throw something close. Yeah. That's what it felt like.
Put it in the zone, Moylan. I'll do the rest.
I'll generate the power, you 90 mile an hour throwing son of a biscuit.
They're bringing this guy in?
Right. That's what it felt like.